Hello and welcome to another TCAP Recap. Tonight we are kicking back and relaxing because it is the weekend, and sometimes you want to just put all the worries behind you, kick back, pop a sparkling water, relax, and watch some predator get their comeuppance and get grilled by Chris Hansen. That's all you want sometimes. You can totally escape reality just for a few brief minutes. You don't have any problems because they all pale in comparison to the predators in this moment of time. That's the fascination of the show. You're watching something so serious happen, something with such momentous consequences, but it's for a child predator, so you don't have to care. Like, you could just be gleeful about it. And then, of course, there's Chris Hansen, grilling him, making him stumble and, just totally freeze, get dazed, and make fools of themselves. So you get the humor. But tonight, where since it's the weekend, we're gonna look at a treat. We're going to treat ourselves to the second Corey of the series, Mr. Corey Edgar, a.k.a. Rick, a.k.a. Rick's Talented Tongue, which is his screen name, a.k.a. the Ben Shapiro Predator, a.k.a. the Talented Tongue Predator, and lastly, well, just one more, I should say. I don't want to keep on naming them. The Fishing Predator. But he's a man of many monikers, this Corey Edgar fella, because he's a man of many emotions. The dominant one being suspicion, because he was gifted, you could say, with a unique mental makeup. He has very high intuition, probably an 8 out of 10. He sniffs out a rat halfway through the chat and starts saying foolish things that don't help him at all, since he continues to go through with it anyway. But he starts saying, I would not do anything with underage females. Leave me alone. I'm going to report you to Yahoo. So he pretended to put up a good fight, but then he just kept on chatting and took the bait and showed up at the house, even though he fought it all the way, because his intuition was just slapping him upside the head, saying, don't do it. It's a trap. But Corey, because he also has a very low intellect level, probably 3 out of 10, he can just set all that aside and go through with it anyway. Because his horny level among the predators is high. Maybe a 9. But it's really understated. Like, it had to have been that high for him to be so fucking stupid and still go through with it. Because being dumb doesn't account for the risk, and just even a dumb person wouldn't do this unless they were really horny for a 12-year-old girl. Because guess what, everybody? Just like his twin, Corey Ahia, this Corey also went for an underage girl. Excuse me. So, yeah. Underage. A 12-year-old girl. Damn. Too many dabs. Shit. It's fine. I've been training for moments like this. So, where was I? Ah, shit. No, 12-year-old girls. They were both going for 12-year-old girls, which is just, predators. They're already terrible and despicable when they go for 13-year-olds. But somehow a 12-year-old, it's just worse. Like, neither one of them going for either age is necessarily better in any way. But somehow the ones that go for 12-year-old girls are just somehow worse. But it's not, like I said, like the ones who go for 14, 15, they're not better, but those other ones are just worse. So anyway, let's get to business.
Some brought condoms, but one man brought something we didn't expect. A warning, some of what you are about to see and hear is explicit. Here's Chris
Damn
Hansen.
straight.
Well, help me to understand.
Look at that nice black turtleneck on Chris. Oh. You know, it can be easy to miss just how foxy he can look sometimes. You know, you get caught up in his grilling. But he was a fine dresser for his time. Very snappy. Not anymore, not in Hansen v. Predator. But back then, stylish guy.
I mean...
Simply put, one guy has his in her mouth.
Surprise David Demers. David Demers. However you pronounce it. Good old David was busted at the Flagler Beach, Florida sting, and was best known as being a wordsmith of sorts. Best known possibly for his final goodbye. Gentlemen, have a good night. And then he turned on his heel and walked out to his fate. But he was a dirty mother effer in his chat logs. Didn't hold back.
Oh, jeez.
The other guy has his in her.
Oh,
or her.
Jesus, right.
Oh, dang.
Then there's this man, 32-year-old
There he is.
Edgar, nicknamed...
Oh, man. He has got the Predator style, just full drip. Of course, there's the jorts. You know, these are hanging at a semi-respectable length. Not that jorts can ever be respectable, but within the field of, you know, jorts themselves, this is a good length for him. It's not too long, so it becomes capris, and it's not too short because nobody wants to see that. But he's got the boring white tee with the logo on the front, just a walking billboard, as was the style back then for most people, not just predos. And then he's got the Nikes or the, you know, whatever, New Balance, whatever was the running shoe of choice for dumpy white guys in Long Beach. God damn it. Voice always cracks when I say Long Beach if I'm not careful. But yeah, that's where he was busted, at the Long Beach, California sting. He was 32 years old at the time. So, and is this a Sebring? Doesn't, I mean, that looks like a convertible all of a sudden, but what do I know? Quality's not so
Rick.
Are you coming?
Edgar, using the screen name Rick's Talented
There's
Tongue,
Ben Shapiro
chatted
for ya.
online with a decoy who told him she was a 12-year-old girl. He tells her he's sending a picture.
Him and Corey Ahia. Damn. I mean, come on, dudes. You had to have the same first name, tarnishing it for everybody else. All the other Corys out there. Sorry, everybody. One day that'll stop happening, hopefully. Yeah. Whoa. Oh, geez. Just putting his dick
of
on
his
blast.
penis. He asks if the girl has condoms, and in graphic terms, if he can perform oral sex.
Such a stupid motherfucker. Why is he asking a 12-year-old girl if she has a condom when he's 32 years old? Is he too scared to go buy condoms? Too embarrassed? Too ashamed? Come on, man. Come on. I mean, what you were using them for, or what you would have been using them for, you should be ashamed. But, come on.
On her. But in the middle of the chat, he suddenly becomes suspicious.
I have a strong feeling you're either undercover or a cop trying to set older guys up. You hear about it all the time.
You're insane.
There's that intuition. Stepping up and letting them know, hey man, this girl's way too into you. Like, you got your Ben Shapiro lookalike photo up, so, you know, it makes sense, sort of, but I don't know. So he puts out this little failsafe just in case he can point back and be like, no, see? I had a strong feeling. I even typed it in all caps just to make sure I got the point across. And he does just that when Chris starts grilling him, pointing out how apprehensive he was, as if it made a difference considering he showed up.
Andy makes this declaration.
I would never meet a female under 18 to do anything sexual. I am reporting you to Yahoo. Please leave me alone.
See? He's trying to set it up, just like the dude from New Jersey. God damn it. I was not prepared to know that guy's name. The guy that brought the letter where it, what did they call it? An alibi letter where it said, I'm worried, I'm going in there, I might be robbed. Did not work for him either. But for Ricky here, this was even worse. Hopefully he didn't even try to use that as an excuse. He does bring this up for sure to Chris. I said, please leave me alone. And she wouldn't leave me alone. As if that makes it, yeah, man, we understand. She wouldn't leave you alone. What dude could resist? Sorry, Rick.
Wow.
Is he just testing the waters to protect himself? Whatever his intent, Edgar
Yes.
doesn't leave the decoy alone and keeps chatting, just to be sure the girl is real.
Oh, regardless, he keeps bothering the decoy. And I like this shot where you get their whole setup. Is that almost looks like a Red Bull, but not the right can shape. But looking smooth, like the double monitors. This is nicer than my setup I got right now. Better than my setup for work, which one is a laptop, but then I just have one other screen. I need to get myself one of these bad boys. Are they not even used? Am I a dumbass? Is this just a huge... Oh! Wow. Yep. That's just one big laptop screen. So they have the same exact setup that I do. Oh, man. I am a dumbass, too. Look at me judging Corey Edgar being 3 out of 10. Oh, I have not trained enough to be stoned while doing this. So I gotta train harder. But must persevere. So let's crank it out. And I will continue to judge Corey for being a predator. That's for sure. And for being a dumbass, because, I can still do that. Even if I am a dumbass sometimes. Because he's Corey Edgar and he's a predator.
He says he wants to talk to her on the phone. Perverted Justice obliges and puts the decoy on the line with him.
Nobody's here. My parents are gone.
In the end, he
Talking to her on the phone doesn't prove anything. I mean, it proves that she's real. But it doesn't prove anything as far as her being a decoy or this being a sting. Because if it was a sting, they would just have a decoy talk on the phone. Like, the police wouldn't just try to do the whole thing without any kind of female decoy to lure him in. Those days are long gone. No, this is a high-tech operation, well-financed by NBC. So, they got a decoy. Yes, they do. Although sometimes the decoy's not always talking on the phone. And some predos notice. Hey, you're not the one I talked to on the phone. The guy down in Florida. My memory of these things isn't good enough that I can just pick him out of the air like Walls does. Shout out to Walls for having a much deeper knowledge of TCAP. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna keep calling them predos. It's easier for me to say. Corey's approaching the door. She had to come out. If I could get better footage. I don't have this. Is the best footage I could find. It's good footage. Thanks again, Charles Lee SLUV, but it doesn't show some of the best parts. Like her having to come around to call out to him. And then another part coming up here.
Decides to come, but he's still not convinced.
So what are you doing?
Not too much. I was just talking online.
Peers in.
Talking online?
Yeah.
Looks in.
You can walk around.
Pretends to stretch. Gets
Come
called
in.
out.
Where are you going?
Goes back outside because he can't believe that he's doing this. It does seem genuine. Like, I definitely think he's talked to a bunch of other girls, underage girls on the internet for sure, and have done inappropriate things like sending them dick pics, but he does show a tremendous amount of nerves, so it does seem to be his first time, but who knows? She's about to try to lure him in.
Just trying not to think about this.
For the next few minutes,
At that point, in the better footage, the decoy says, "Just think about me naked and come on in." And it's so incongruous with a 12-year-old girl. Like, it does not sound... Number one, what 12-year-old girl... Hopefully a 12-year-old girl will not be saying that. But number two, even if she was, like, the decoy just says it with such confidence. Like, she's just... It's old hat. Not saying anything about the actress. She is an actress and acting, of course. But it definitely works on old Rick. He comes on in.
Edgar can't decide whether he wants to stay or go. Finally, he comes in,
Whatever.
but spots our camera crew in the next room.
You are a suspicious guy, Rick.
Oh, busted. Chris Hansen has to come out early, but Rick gets scared back inside. Hey, sorry about that. I had some technical issues. As I was saying, Rick goes for the door, but he gets pulled back in because he knows that the cops, or he expects the cops to be out there at least. So we're gonna jump back and take a look at that intro by Chris one more time. Damn, if I had the better footage, the longer footage, it's better, but this is still pretty good.
But spots our camera crew in the next room.
Oh man,
You are
he makes it in further before he sees the camera crew in the longer footage, and then Chris has to improvise. Well, yeah, improvise. He knew that he was a suspicious guy, so he could have had that one ready. It just applied very well in this situation, or he just, grabbed it out of the air, because he's good like that. He's Chris Hansen.
Our camera crew in the next room.
You are a suspicious
See?
guy, Rick.
He says, "See?" Like he caught them. Like, see? I knew there was a camera crew here. I knew this was a sting. He's not the first one to try to pull that off. That little... Got you. You don't got me. I got you.
I told you there's people here.
I want to speak with you for a minute. Why don't you have a seat?
I think somebody else, another commentator, pointed it out. It might have been Dave Lemonade. But he says, I told you there's... And he kind of trips up because he wants to say, police here, or this is a sting. But he doesn't want to imply that this is a sting or in any way any kind of legal situation, because he doesn't want to be a part of that. He doesn't need this in his life. He doesn't want this. His life might as well be over.
Right over there.
I wasn't planning on any of this.
Good. I want to hear the...
He wasn't planning on any of this, Chris. He was not planning on any of this happening. is the logical follow through of that sentence. So I think we can safely assume that you did not plan for any of this to happen, Rick, because this is a very bad situation for you. You have every single reason to be nervous that your life is over after this, because it's not over, but much different, a totally different trajectory. That's what happens when you go on the RSO.
The whole story. So come on over here and have a seat. You can tell me all about it.
Chris talks to him like he's a really easily spooked farm animal, which is an approach we see him take with other predators. It's one that he can pull off pretty well. He's a commanding figure in, his suit jacket, but he's being nice and talking gently, so it comes across as fatherly, and that must appeal to these guys in this moment of utter panic and fear.
Might as well just. My life's over. My life's over.
It's
Rick,
over.
now I've got some transcripts here of your conversation with this girl.
Didn't it?
I like how Chris just doesn't even address what he's saying about his life being over. He just... You see, Corey, I got some transcripts here. He's letting Corey know that... Hang on. You can have pity for yourself, but not before I have my way with you. Then you can pity yourself a whole lot more for what's about to happen.
I did not.
I actually want to listen to him complain about his life being over one more time, because it's just so pathetic and whiny and so indicative of who he is as a person. In this moment, it's all about him and, how this is going to affect him. He's not showing an ounce of remorse or regret or any awareness at all about the harm he would have done if it would have been a 12-year-old girl here by herself. None of that, which he was really nervous and suspicious for himself. It didn't have anything to do with his queasiness about raping a minor, because he was full bore. He was okay with that, but he just didn't want to suffer any consequences because of it. Corey, man, your estimation is dropping below. It's dropping fast. I mean, it wasn't high to begin with. Let's just say that.
My life's over.
Rick, now I've got some
Oops,
transcripts
I missed
here.
the first one.
Seat. You can tell me all about it.
Jeez, I might as well just. My life's over. My life's over.
Rick, now I've got some transcripts here.
That's a moment of defeat for the man right there. He comes up and he just puts his head against the door, or I think it's the screen door, but just puts it against there like, I'm done. It is over. The part of your life that this is going to become the major event in Rick's life. In his life, he's now going to think of it as before he was on the registered sex offender list and after, because that's the difference it makes. I mean, his post-predator activities, I don't really know. It doesn't seem to be that there's that much. Like, it's not like Corey Ahia, who went on to get married. I do have a more recent picture of Corey, and he's looking tanned and I guess more fit. It's only a picture of his shoulders and face, but there is a letter from 2012 allegedly written by Corey that we're gonna take a look at, but you can't tell on the internet if it's Corey or if it's a troll. Walls makes a good argument. I keep on bringing him up. I was watching his commentary on this earlier. It's good stuff. But he talked about how in 2012, TCAP hadn't really hit its renaissance period. So the chances of somebody trolling so subtly, like writing it on this very dark corner of the internet, populated by sex offenders complaining about being on the RSO and taking no responsibility for their crimes, or pretending to take responsibility but then just making it all about them. I read Corey's and then a few more to get a feel for the place. It was, slimy. But I don't know. Maybe his life wasn't as terrible as he thought it would be in this moment, but he definitely had to rethink everything because he escaped jail time. He had 3 years probation, but he did get RSO status, and he's still on it to this day. So he probably would have preferred going to jail for a couple years and escaping the RSO, which I'm sure anybody would. That's kind of the beauty of the RSO, that they can't just walk away, or continue to go on and get into situations where they can re-offend. It's like Inglourious Bastards when they say to the main Nazi fella that they bring back at the very end of the movie that they save, they carve the swastika on his forehead just so he can't take off that fancy uniform when he gets to the USA and pretend to be one of the good guys. Scars could be fixed and can be fixed. The RSO cannot. So RSO works well. Let's go back to poor old Corey Edgar.
My life's over.
Rick, now I've got some transcripts here of your conversation with this girl.
I did not want this to happen.
Again, I did not want this to happen. Yeah. Duh. You fucking idiot. Of course you didn't want it to happen. You made that very clear, and also no reasonable, sane person would want this to happen if they were engaged in the type of activity that you were. So you can dispense with the very obvious truisms here, Rick. Let's just get to the meat of the situation. Let's get that meat and throw it on the Barbie. You're the meat in this situation, Rick.
Anything.
Please have a seat on the stool.
That's another extremely common excuse. I've never done anything like this before. As if that has any bearing on what you are doing right this moment. And, I mean, let's just take it at face value that Corey hasn't done this before, showing up at the house. What's his follow-up argument from that? Like, I haven't done this before. Okay, so what are you doing here? Well, I haven't done this before. Okay. It doesn't go anywhere. It's something that they all say, though. Maybe it just, I guess if they haven't done it before, if they truly haven't, it is one thing that would separate them from predators that have done it before. But that's kind of like a case, again, of one being worse than the other, but neither being better than the other. They're both predos who are here in this hot seat today. This famous little setup right here. Ooh. The L-shaped bar, I love it. The limes, the Kool-Aid. Rick's gonna get to enjoy some of that Kool-Aid. It's too bad we can't find out what he thought about it. If anybody knows Rick or can get a hold of him, ask him if it was good Kool-Aid. Ask him what it was, what flavor. I do like this little setup back here, the nice leather chair and the bookcase and little writing desk. I wouldn't mind that. But let's go back to business.
Hello, how are you doing? Can I tease in, please?
Sorry, I'm just gonna.
Well, let me read to you the first line out of your mouth. Hello, how are you doing? Can I tease in, please, your blank with my tongue and make you blank over and over? Right?
Woo! That's quite the opening line. How many times has that worked for you, Rick? Other than it being a decoy. I can't imagine it's ever worked before because nobody wants to be, you know, dick slapped by such an ugly sentence as the first, you know, introduction to another person in a conversation. Maybe other weirdos like it. I don't know. Maybe he gets responses from other dudes role playing as girls, ladies, women, whatever. But I can't imagine any woman would appreciate that. No person wants to be talked to that way. At least not by a total stranger. If it's consensual, you know, then if that's your thing, that's your kink, being talked to like that, then that's great. But definitely not from strangers, and especially not ones looking like this.
And she tells you that she's 12.
And then I said, "You're a little too young. Please."
Right. You say, I never knew a young female like yourself would like that.
He tries to put up some pathetic, meager defense, and Chris just kicks it over like a castle made of sand.
And then you show some reservations. I'm not arresting you.
They are.
Though he doesn't see them, Edgar seems to know the police are outside. And that shouldn't be a surprise. Remember that Edgar sent this picture of what he said was his penis.
Right. See, Rick, shares another aspect with the Corey Ahia in that they both jump to wanting to get arrested, wanting to get it on with. They don't want to sit here and have their nasty, despicable chat log thrown back in their face. And Rick was probably trying to avoid this as well. He wanted to skip to getting arrested because he didn't want Chris to whip out the dick pic and throw it in his face non-consensually. So, funny how the turntables there.
That ain't mine. No.
Whose was it?
I have no clue. That ain't mine.
So you didn't send her or transmit or let her see.
It was a fake picture is what it was.
Okay, but
Okay, let's just follow his argument here. So, no, that ain't mine. It ain't mine. It's a fake picture, so it's a picture of a fake penis, or it's a fake picture of a real penis. Fake picture of a fake penis. What's fake about it? And number two, why are you sending somebody fake pictures of somebody else's dick? Because we can look back at that little blurred snap we get out of it. That's not like a porn shot. You can see his hand right there. This is his leg going down, and so that would be where the old Lil Glory lies. This isn't like some porn shoot back here. He can't claim that he just found it off the internet. Oh, Corey, Rick, whatever.
That was his penis.
Who cares? He's Corey, he's Rick. We get to call him what we want. That's right. That's what happens when you're a predo.
That ain't mine. No.
whose was it?
I have no clue. That ain't.
He suddenly gets real defiant too. Like he's got a leg to stand on. He stands on it, and even though it's totally nonsense.
Mine.
So you didn't send her or transmit or let her see.
It was a fake picture is what it was.
Okay, but you transmitted it.
Yes.
May not have been you, but you transmitted
All
a picture
I did was
of somebody's
copy
genital.
it, and I did that. That's
Okay.
it.
Do you think that's appropriate behavior when talking to somebody who says she's 12 years old?
So Chris lets him slide on that a little bit, saying, fine, it's not yours, but you still sent it because sending pornographic material to a minor, knowingly sending it to a minor, is a felony. So Corey just admitted to the felony A right there. He doesn't know it. He thinks he's being dodgy somehow, sidestepping the question somehow, but as usual, he's totally missing the point and focusing on the wrong thing, and he'll suffer for it, I'm sure. This is probably going to be used as evidence. He admits it right there, so why wouldn't it be? It's so funny how the predos always think that they're being sneaky when they are doing something like this. Or somehow that they can even think it at all. Like when they're asked what the lesson is and it's keep your jeans in your jeans. No, it's not. That's a line from another predo. But that was not the lesson. It wasn't to keep your jeans in your jeans. It was to not talk to underage girls. There's a bunch of other predators that give BS like that. It's just bullshit talk. And that was Kevin Westerbeck. Let's go.
No, it's not.
No. Okay.
Read what I wrote to her this morning when she kept
Here we
playing,
go.
trying to get an older guy. This is wrong. I clearly said, please leave me alone. Do not message me.
He's so angry. He's like, it's not fair. I said that I didn't want this. I didn't want to show up, but she made me.
What does she keep doing? She keeps messaging me and trying to get an older guy to come over here.
He's
So it's her
lying.
fault.
No, it's not.
Blame the victim.
It's not my fault. It's not her
Not
fault.
your fault.
It's nobody's fault. It just happened. What do you want from me? Oh, what? That's a pretty unique excuse. It's just a divine act. Oh, yes. That's sacrilegious, Corey. Sacrilegious.
Fault, Rick. You kept going with the conversation.
The Immaculate Conception was one thing. The Immaculate sex crime, that belongs to Corey here.
About your
Came here
story.
Because I was going to get cigarettes, fill up my tank, and then go fishing.
What, you thought they sold cigarettes at this house?
No.
Do you think
I
they
did
sell
not.
gas at this house?
No, I did not.
Perfect. Why even stop here then if all
Chris
you were
is
going to do today?
just tearing into him. He knows. He's. But let's see. He was gonna get cigarettes, get gas. Normally those are at the same facility, and then go fishing. He has his fishing gear in his truck, I bet, or in his trunk. Excuse me.
That's why it was wrong for me to even stop here, and I just.
I mean, come on, you got to have some sort of insight into
Going
here.
fishing. Check my trunk. I have my fishing gear. My fishing license is in my console. I was going fishing.
Another case of missing the point. Also, shades of Dan Allen saying, "My car's out front. I can prove it to you."
It sounds like what you were fishing for was sex with a 12-year-old girl.
Jeez.
Please check my trunk.
No, you told me already about getting gas and going fishing.
Who
And
are
getting
you?
cigarettes. Who am I?
Yeah.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on adults who try to meet children online for sex. Now,
Put him
if there's
on,
anything
bad
else you want to
boy.
tell us?
This guy's got his smirk going on. But Corey throws down those shades like they're gonna give him some relief from the heat. I mean,
Now,
they probably did
does
help in the moment, because I can appreciate having sunglasses on. It just makes you feel a little bit more protected from the
Now.
world. There he is. But in this situation, they're not going to help much, because you're going to get them ripped off your face the moment you go outside and get arrested. You know, this is a heavily edited clip. It gives the impression of a lot of time elapsing because he switches chairs and such. I wish we could just have the total uncut footage again. I mean, maybe it was there. The other ones I've seen were not uncut, so probably it's never been released. But they should just release all the uncut footage. I would pay for it. No, 100%. I'd pay a lot of money for that collection.
If there's anything else you want to tell us, we'd be happy to hear it. If not, you're clearly free to walk right out the door you came in.
I don't want to walk out the door. They're gonna take me. They want me anyway.
Is there anything else you want people
That's
to know
very
about
true.
the situation?
They want you, they're going to take you anyway.
My life is screwed. I'm done. My family's done. They're waiting to arrest me. They're waiting to take me to jail.
In fact,
His family's not done, but they're probably going to go through some shit because of this. Any family would if one of your loved ones turns out to be this dude, a sex criminal busted on national television on TCAP, those are the victims. Many other commentators have said it, but in these situations where there's a decoy that's a paid actor or actress and there's no actual little underage kid, the victims are the families, because they're the ones that suffer the most, I bet, from all of this. They get all this exposure with none of the normal benefits of being on a national NBC program, the positive kind.
The Long Beach police are getting into position.
Staying here is not going to help you.
Just feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Well, that's maybe another good reason to go outside. But Rick, it's not going to help you to stay here any longer, okay?
Chris is getting real impatient. He's done with you, Rick. Stick a fork in you. You're done. And get the hell out.
Rick, I'm serious.
Glasses,
Can I have a drink of this?
If you'd like.
He probably does have a dry throat and dry mouth. Nerves will do that to you. Anxiety.
But Rick, I think it's time to go.
His head hanging low. As Chris Hansen says in
Get on your knees.
Wanda Recipes segment.
Put your hands on your head.
The cops take him gently.
He later pleaded no contest to one count of an attempted lewd act upon a child. Coming up, a wrap-up.
That's the end of Corey Edgar's segment. So I got some other materials here from Corey Edgar. This is his letter on the Tales from the Registry website, which it's slimy as fuck. But he is so full of shit that it's a very humorous letter. It makes it hard to know whether it's real or satire, because he claims that he was totally set up by Dateline, that he went to the house and he sat outside. The girl said, "Did you bring the condoms?" He said no, because that's not right. She said, "Just picture me naked and come on in," like I mentioned. He said, "No, this is wrong," and walked back to his car. And she said, "This is fucked up, that the least he could do is come in for some punch she just made." He felt so bad and guilty that he went in and started drinking my punch, and Chris Hansen and Dateline NBC walked out, and he was arrested 10 minutes later. Never touched the girl once again, if this really is Corey. Not really understanding the difference between attempt and actually doing it, and that both are illegal. I'd never received a plea deal. Here is some more bullshit. His attorney said he has enough evidence to take it to trial and prove that he had no intentions, but also that it's such a big deal in the public eyes that the jury would have him guilty for trial, so he pled no contest. So really, he's a total victim of circumstance. Who knows if it's real or not? He puts the blame 100% on Dateline NBC and a little bit on his friend, I guess, so maybe 80-20. But Dateline NBC just plays the show and things for high ratings, and they're rude at the sheriff's station every year when he registers. Don't let the same mistake happen to you. Yeah, folks, don't I hate saying folks. Yeah, people, don't get into some strange practical joke war with your friend, get set up with a fake minor, and then just happen to run into the decoy from NBC Dateline somehow coincidentally. He thinks it's his buddy that sent him the messages. Oh, okay, so he just thinks it's his buddy. His buddy's not a part of it. My bad. But still, don't mistakenly think that the decoy you're sexting of a 12-year-old girl is really your buddy. and show up at a sting house. So, good lessons from this guy right here. This is one of his newer photos. Like I said, he's looking tanner for sure, but maybe more in shape. I guess being on the RSO, probably at least you have a lot of free time to spend at the gym because you can't do anything else. Who knows? But that will wrap things up for Corey, Rick, Edgar. Thank you for listening as always, and we'll see you on the flip side.